Welcome to the Warframe Weapon Encyclopedia, where today we're going to check out Gauss's signature dual rocket launcher, the Akarius. The blueprint for the Akarius can be acquired from the mission Err on Your Runners, which is an infested dark sector disruption where it drops from the Demolisher Infested. Those are the big beeping guys that come in 4 times per round to try and destroy your terminals. The Akarius is an explosive dual-wielded secondary weapon that comes in with very low crit stats, a very long reload, high status, and then it does impact damage with the, actual impact of the rockets, and then a bunch of extra blast damage with an explosion that has a radius of 7.2 meters and 70% fall off. The rockets from the Akarius will home in onto enemies to a certain extent. It's about a 15-degree cone right in front of you, and the weapon comes with no self-stagger protection whatsoever, so be very careful, especially since the explosion is fairly large. And the reason I'm not getting staggered in the video is because I'm running prime-shore footage, so I'm not staggered all over the place. And finally, while the reload on the weapon is very long, it will be sped up by up to 50% by sprinting or up to 100% if you're also using Gauss. Which means that if you keep sprinting, the reload will be about 2.27 seconds with a normal frame and 1.7 seconds with Gauss. Now when it comes to the build on the weapon, it heavily depends on whether or not you're running Gauss, because if you're not, you want some form of a reload reduction. In this case, I'm using stunning speed, which also gives me some status chance, and whether or not you already have some form of ammo mutation, like for example from Carrier, and if you don't, you definitely want to go with pistol ammo mutation as well. And outside of that, the build is very straightforward with some damage and multi-shot and then 3 dual stat mods, which are most likely going to combine into either corrosive and heat for general use, or even gas and electricity if you fight a lot of corpus. Though if you are running with Gauss and you have Carrier, so you have that ammo mutation in there already, you simply take out stunning speed and pistol ammo mutation and you run with elemental mods instead, which will give you even more damage. Also, as you can clearly see in this clip, even though we are using 2 utility mods for the reload and for the ammo mutation, the weapon still does plenty of damage. And that ultimately is what I think was the downfall of the weapon. It does too much damage for its own good, so they felt the need to gimp it in every way, shape or form. It's actually even worse than when it originally came out, because it did have self-damage protection, which was removed when self-damage was removed. So on top of the terrible ammo economy, which needs you need pistol ammo mutation, not because, pistol ammo is rare, but because you need a constant stream of it to keep the weapon fed, and the long reload and the non-existent crit on the explosions, because while the rockets do have 6% crit chance, the explosion has 0, so it will never crit, and the fact that getting the weapon is pretty grindy because the enemies only show up 4 times during an entire round. They also added stealth stagger to the pile. So I really can't recommend the weapon unless you're really intrigued by the look of it and you want to try it out, in which case just go for it. And that's pretty much it. So I thank you very much for watching as always, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video and it was helpful, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.